Judicial Watch is suing the Justice Department, demanding records of all the communications between the FBI and former Director James Comey related to his new book, which he's out on the circuit pushing as we speak. The lawsuit raises questions about whether Comey is receiving special treatment from the FBI, the effect of which is to give him use of illegally obtained material for his book. And joining us to sort all of this out and more, Chris Farrell, Director of Investigations and Research for Judicial Watch. Great to see you. And why in the world, first of all, would they have given him permission for this book? It's a travesty, obviously, as he goes around.
Well, Comey's out there making money off of material and information that he can profit from, but the American public can't gain access to. It's incredibly insulting and arrogant, but that's what you see when you look at how Comey's been performing. Look, there's a pre-publication review process that anybody in the law enforcement or intelligence world has to abide by. It can be quite tedious and actually a protracted sort of review, because what they want you to not talk about is exactly what Comey is talking about. And so you've had other, Louis Freeh wrote a memoir about being FBI director, but he didn't personally attack the sitting president months after being fired. And
and it's obviously that was his intent from the beginning.
Of course.
And it also puts the entire agency now that had already been riven with these kind of political actors, whether they're Strzok or Page or McCabe or Comey.
You need a scorecard.
And now the FBI has a deep and highly toxic and odoriferous hole from which to dig out from.
And this pre-publication review process, I can virtually guarantee you, was abused, massaged, fixed in some way so Comey could rush out with his book.
Yeah.
We've actually represented an FBI agent in the past who went through a torturous process where they were wanting to dot every I and cross every T and check every reference before they'd allow him to publish. And this has gone through at lightning speed. So who's behind that?
And who's behind the stonewalling? Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General, is now communicating with the three chair of Intel and Oversight and Judiciary in the House. And he needs another day or two just to get his the memoranda from Comey in order for their presentation. This is, on its face, the most arrogant and disgusting behavior on the part of a deputy. What does he have to do to get fired?
Well, and the issue...
Or impeached.
The materials we're talking about are the exact same thing that Comey's using to run around and pitch his book. I mean, the disparity here is breathtaking. But with respect to Rosenstein, I mean, I think he's going to have to go out and steal a car or something to get someone's attention to get him fired. I don't know how much further he can go. He's already beyond the scope, beyond the limit.
So where is Jeff Sessions? Where is Jeff Sessions?
Jeff Sessions, call your office. I do not know. It's inexplicable. And we've talked before about the conflicts of interests, the disqualification standards, and now he's playing these little Mickey Mouse games.
Yeah, but I mean, he has
around Congress.
This is his responsibility. This isn't the DAG's. It is his. And speaking of that, this is about FBI memos written by the fired director. This is Christopher Wray's job. Where is Christopher Wray? He's also got radio silent.
A thundering silence from Wray's office. They all deliberately choose not to engage. And I guess they think no one's paying attention. They should think otherwise. We are paying attention.
And, you know, as we listen to this nonsense from the book trail, the fired FBI director saying this isn't normal. The president calling for basically the jailing of the lying and leaking Comey.
Well, you know what it is with Comey? He doesn't think it's normal because it's the truth. The president spoke in very clear, straightforward terms, and that may be very jarring to Mr. Comey, who apparently, I was reading his book earlier today, he's a very sensitive person.
You know, as someone was pointing out here the other night, he gets queasy, he has a nausea, he was sick to his stomach. I mean, this man is, there is sensitivity here. I don't know of what kind, but it is certainly not sensitivity born of self-awareness or particular concern for the thoughts, values, and roles of others.
He needs to just keep talking and talking and talking, because eventually, between the book and his public statements and what they have him on under oath, the indictment will write itself.
So I ask, partly rhetorically, what does have to happen? Tom Fitton said here that he would urge the president just to give pardons to everyone in his administration who's been tainted by this witch hunt by Mueller. I can't imagine you disagreeing, but is that the most straightforward solution to it from the standpoint of the president?
It deflates the whole charade, the whole circus. It's a preemptive strike, and it says, look, this is all fun and games. You've had more than a year to run around in circles.
Almost 2 years, including the FBI part of the investigation, plus the special counsel.
And this incredible disparity of treatment. Look at General Flynn versus, you know, Comey on the Hill lying or making admissions under oath about breaking the law, and the senators thank him for his service. You know, the one way to just pop the balloon and get it over with is just every person who's sort of a named target or a subject, just preemptively grant them immunity. It deflates the entire thing, and let's move on.
And what do you think of the other course, which is for the House, tired and frustrated and upset as they are with their treatment at the hands of those who should be public servants and who have sworn an oath to defend the Constitution, but in fact are violating, refusing the oversight authority of the House in particular. What about the idea, if Rosenstein continues this, that first contempt of Congress and then impeachment on the part of the legislature?
My colleague Tom Fitton and I have been preaching the impeachment of lesser constitutional officers for literally years. Any member of Congress who we can get a hold of or we talk to or cross paths with, we remind them lesser constitutional officers other than the president can all be impeached. And in fact, you can impeach someone who's not even currently in office. So in theory, you could impeach Loretta Lynch and President Obama. They don't have to be current office holders. And the idea of doing that is that impeachment, a conviction of impeachment, precludes those persons from ever holding public office again.
With that, Chris Farrell, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Lou.